Kicking off the morning with getting a little bit aggressive in Pioneer. This is a red-green aggro deck that has a small prowess sub-theme. So we've got Swiftspear and Soul-Scar Mage at the bottom end here with a pump spell like Blossoming Defense. And then one of the kind of blowout things this deck can do is we've got Dreadhorde Arcanist here alongside Atarka's command, which says you can give your creatures +1/+1 and deal 3 damage to your opponent. So Dreadhorde Arcanist here notably flashes back spells that have converted mana cost less than or equal to its power. So the basic idea is with this in play, you cast Atarka's command during your main phase, pump up your Dreadhorde Arcanist and deal 3 to your opponent, and then Dreadhorde Arcanist can immediately flash this back, deal 3 again, and pump up your team some more. We also have Invigorated Rampage, do something similar. Give Dreadhorde either +4 attack and trample, or give it 2 and something else 2, and then flash back the Invigorated Rampage. We've got Goblin Rabblemaster to generate lots of threats to go wide, along with Embercleave. So let's go ahead and pop it into a constructed league and see how this one goes. We played, I think we 5-0'd the last time we played a Gruul aggressive deck like this. Had a couple of small details different, I believe, but I was actually saying before I hit the record button, it's been so long since we've played that, and I play so many decks that I can't even remember what we were doing. A lot of the time, when I do things like this, I go back and I watch my own past video and like watch my wrap up and listen to what Past Jeff had to say. It's like, all right, Past Jeff, what did you do? I don't know. I don't know that we're gonna get Animal Crossing. Would you put Cleave into Modern Burn? No, the creatures in there are too small on average, I think. This seems like not stellar with 4 mana sources in it, but it has a 1-2-3 curve, and like if I mulliganed this and saw a 6 with like 3 lands in these 3 spells, I'd be super happy with it, so. Lead on game trail here. Have fun, party bus. Great. Tapped land. You love to see it. We showed the mountain, right? Yeah. Rabblemaster's not a bad pickup. If we find an instant or sorcerer at Dreadhorde Arcanist, we get to deal an incredible amount of damage next turn. One of the things that's sweet with Arcanist too is that Become Immense also works with it. So like Become Immense costs 7, and you give +6/+6. You can Become Immense this, and then it flashes back Become Immense on itself, which is hot. And easy Rabblemaster to start. Want to lead on Rabblemaster as opposed to Gruul Spellbreaker because Rabblemaster as opposed to Gruul Spellbreaker because this builds up over time. Did it really not tag a favorite video yesterday? I thought YouTube had fixed its stuff. Yeah, it definitely didn't. The Merfolk deck was a favorite for yesterday. I'm gonna go fix that now. Feel free to ping me on Discord if you notice in the evening that nothing got tagged, because I definitely tagged a video, and YouTube playlists are just like a steaming pile of dumpster fire for like the last month and a half. Slam in. Thanks for the 3rd of the year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Glad you're enjoying Yarok Field. Yeah, it like just to illustrate. Well, that draw was great, but like just to illustrate that YouTube is garbage. Like, here's a video from yesterday that is tagged as a historic video and a favorite league in the playlist. And then, like, you go to my website, and I believe it's actually in the historic playlist. No, it's actually not in the historic playlist either. Wow, this list hasn't been updated since the 17th? Good lord. God, this website is just such a pile of garbage. Alright, so that's just like actually verifiably insane. So let's go 2-0, 2-0. And we attack with everything. This targets this. All right. So it looks like they're playing a fair deck. The new layout. That's just me casting my center screen as opposed to capturing things. It's not a layout we're keeping. Embercleave doesn't seem very good here. I think Temur Battle Rage is supposed to come out in matchups like this because they're going to have more removal spells. Yeah, Klothys seems great against the Wayfinder deck. I think it's probably become immense too. Makes Klothys worse. Could get stuck in my hand with Hazoret. It's kind of unreal. Like, it'll take me a second to, like... It only takes me a second to... I just need to, like, add it into my wrap-up. I lied about the pie. Thanks for the third of year. Gerd, thanks for the half a year. Like, I have a ritual, basically. Like, when I sign off, like, when I go through, like, my mental checklist of everything that I need to do at the end of the day. And, like, since YouTube has stopped updating playlists or stopped posting things to playlists, it's like another thing I have to do and remember to do. This is absolutely rancid. Is that Weens? You know, Weens, it's funny. I know that it's you, even though I can't read the text of your name, because your black username that you have picked out is just absolutely illegible on Twitch dark mode. But you're the only person that uses that, so I just, like, mostly know that it's you. Because nobody else picks the awful typeset. You're saying we should all switch to black? If you switch your name to black, I will no longer read your username ever. Just fair warning. Anybody who changes their username to black, I just won't be able to read it. I just won't acknowledge your messages. If you say obnoxious things, I'm still gonna time out or ban you, but I just won't be able to respond to them. Or just like no historic videos added to this playlist for like the last 2 days. Every time I see a username in black, I want to time them out from spite. Yeah. All right, what am I doing here? I think I'm just deploying Klothys. Let's play land and start by attacking and see what they do. It might be right to just Atarka's command them. Now I'm going to Klothys. So, Klothys technically doesn't have anything in the graveyard to target right now. But in the event that they don't give us something in the graveyard to target next turn, I can upkeep cast the Atarka's command, and then exile that during my main phase, which is great. Okay, they gave us things to exile. No problem. I don't know, Gerd. If you are in the subs Discord, by the way, if you do any streaming of any sort, whether it's educational related or not, there's a community streams channel where Hoaglandia members are always invited to link their Twitch stream when they're going live, regardless of what they're streaming. It's in the top level section of the Discord. Yeah, Spreda. Things like that are why, in my opinion, the government, probably the federal government, really needs to step up and just start forcibly canceling things and issuing shelter-in-place orders. In my opinion. So Dog Mom here can't attack this turn, but next turn she's gonna get real frisky with Invigorated Rage plus Atarka's command. He should be pretty dead here, unless they have some kind of exile effect. What's going on, Socio Penguin? Someone did mention 2K Energy. That's sweet, Beansy. Can't forcibly stop GameStop. They're essential. God, that's so heinous. I've purchased Switch games from GameStop before when I wanted to purchase something locally. I will probably never do that again. It's just so unreasonably offensive. Gosh, we just devoured their fair deck, huh? This, like, wasn't particularly close. And there are definitely a number of businesses that are essential services, like gas stations, like grocery stores, like pharmacies, that need to stay open. And that's why it's so important that, like, we get things that aren't those closed, so that way people that need to be going out have less risk associated with them going out. This is fine. It doesn't have a 2-drop, but the rest of the spells are good. Conchi Paws, thank you for the very generous tier 2 sub. Welcome to Hoaglandia. My tier 2 subs support me a little bit extra, so if you haven't already done so, I'd encourage you to take a peek at the deck queue and let me know if there's something that you'd like to see a little bit sooner. My tier 2 subs get to bump something by 10 points each month when they renew. Yes, that is exactly correct, Banza. The point of self-quarantine and shelter-in-place orders is so the people that we really need to be able to function are able to function with very minimal amounts of transmission percentages. Is he the governor? I thought he was a senator. I thought it was a senator. Was it the governor or a senator? So I drew a 2-drop, but I think I'm going to be conservative and play the Fabled Passage here. It's just being a little awkward for us, so that way I can play this next turn. It's very possible these should just be mana confluences. I think that's something we said last time, right? Yeah, there were two senators that sold stocks, both Republicans, by the way, that that sold stocks after having a private intelligence briefing in the Senate. I appreciate it, Pause. I wouldn't be here making stuff without the support of folks like you. So the number is 4 now. The number of what? The extra heinous part about those senators selling stocks too, if you weren't aware, is that a couple of those Republicans that sold stocks off, they also posted tweets talking about how it wasn't a big deal what COVID was about to do, and we should just not worry about it, basically. He also sent a message to his high-level donors warning them to do the same while publicly stating it wasn't a big deal. I know I've said this a number of times before on stream, but it bears repeating. If you are not a millionaire and you are voting for GOP representatives, you are an idiot. You are voting against your own best interests. If you do not have 7 figures in investments or in your bank account, stop voting for Republicans. It's unreal. Now is the time to buy stock, right? Yeah, in theory, it's gonna bounce back eventually. So like, while it might drop more, if you have disposable cash on hand, now is a decent time to buy in, theoretically. So I think I'm going to bin the Dreadhorde Arcanist so I can guaranteed cleave next turn. Yeah, and it should be emphasis on a large amount of disposable cash. Because, like, you know, things could get worse before they get better. Jobs that seem stable now could become unstable. So certain sectors losing their jobs in this instance will then cause a domino-style effect to cause other sectors to lose their jobs. Like, Christy and I have been assuming that, like, my income here is probably going to drop off a good bit at some point. Just because, like, money that people send here is largely extra hobby money, right? And when things get tight, extra hobby money is one of the things that gets cut. This is not financial advice. I am not qualified to give financial advice, and I am not liable for any decisions you make and money you lose. That's a good one. That was anything said on this stream falls under that. All right, so they're dead, right? Because this is hexproof. That's become immense. You can pry my tier 3 sub for my cold poor fingers. God bless Juki. And hopefully like I'm fortunate that, like, especially since we're not currently sending Declan to daycare, so long as like the Prime subs stick around, if people keep Amazon Prime, we should be okay. Like, you know, in any given month, like, for example, channel analytics, for the last 30 days, a little over half my subs are Twitch Prime subs. Instructions unclear, pulled a second mortgage and bought stocks in GameStop. Oh no, oh no, oh no, what have I done? What have I done? What's a worse scenario? I'm working from home. but I have to watch the Hallmark Channel or I'm stuck watching Jeff. What a brutal life. Well, this Become Immense is going to be lethal here through this K command, so got that going for us. We've got the biggest, best Gruul Spellbreakers you've ever seen on this channel. Are you all set up so if your job went away, you would be fine? Yeah, we basically, Christy and I don't live above our means. Like, when this started making more money to be a job, we budget to live off of Christy's income because she has a real job. And my job is responsible for paying for daycare and paying off our mortgage a little bit quicker. We're fairly responsible adults, all things considered. So again, I think I cut these against a really interactive deck because these are cards that are only good if we have a threat in play, and I just want to like bring in more threats to increase my overall threat density. One of my college buddies works at Vanguard, and when we're talking about stocks in our group chat, he just says, I'm not legally allowed to say anything, it goes quiet. And like Christy and I, you know, like I've mentioned, like on stream, people are like, oh, you used to eat out like 10 times a week. Like that's literally like the only thing Christy and I spend money on. Like we don't drink alcohol even when Christy's not pregnant. Like, you know, we don't really live lavishly. We play video games, we hang out at home, we eat takeout. And like now that we're currently in self-lockdown, the only thing that's changed is we no longer eat takeout. All right, would I rather have Thrash Threat or would I rather have Invigorated Rampage? I feel like Thrash Threat might be better. What's going on, oldest son?
I ate my whole water bowl.
You ate your whole Lunchable?
That means I get hot chips?
Yep, did mommy give you hot chips?
Nah, I want my hair. And I do. Nah, I do I be.
You do like that?
Yeah, and yes.
You're adorable, child. Your hands are cold. I can tell you just washed them. What's a hot chip? Jay's hot chips, I believe, or Lay's hot chips. Christy and Jacob both like really spicy chips. You like the spicy chips? They're pretty good. What was that noise?
I jam my hot chip noise.
Oh, it's a hot chip noise? I didn't realize hot chips had sound effects.
I saw my back.
You're a great child. Champion IRL, thank you for the very generous sub-gifties. All right, hop chip noise. Do you need anything else? What do you need? All right, I love you. Can you go upstairs and watch the show with Mom?
Hey, show in the basement.
You want to watch something in the basement? What do you want to watch?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Play the game. Play the game. Play the game.
All right, chat. I'm going to take 30 seconds and go get Jake set up with the show really quick. Back in a moment. Sorry.
Okay. Sometime I know I miss away. You could see good day and Daddy missed that. Okay.
You see the remote in there? What do you want to watch, dude? Can you pick? Hey, can I cover you in the blanket? Just pull down here. Okay, go. What do you want? You want to try the sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. There's one you watched the other day. Love you, dude. Alright. Well, that's rude. Was I super punished for not holding up a thing? I just went into autopilot mode. I deserve that. Is it even worth saving it, actually? Maybe. Maybe it is. Oh. Can I see without my glasses? Yeah, I have 20/20 vision, swag. These glasses are actually, they have a blue light filtering lens in them that reduces eye fatigue while I'm using the computer. So they are just blue light filtering lenses. Dude, what's that?
Play game with you.
We'll play games after I'm done today, I promise. We played games yesterday, right? We're gonna play games after Dad's done working every day. We will play Overwatch today, I promise. Love you, dude. Close the door. Close the door. Oh, God. So, for people that missed me talking about it yesterday, I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Starting this weekend, I'm going to start streaming over the weekend. And then I'm going to be transitioning to probably 2 less days per week, not doing Magic content during the week. I'm going to shift my schedule a little bit. So that way, Christy and I aren't both trying to work and half wrangle kids at the same time. Because her job, obviously, is a little bit more rigid than mine, so she can't work on the weekends. But I am able to. I don't know yet, Fox. They might be different days each week that I take off during the week. And then obviously things will still end up on YouTube. So if you're someone that can't watch on the weekends and only watches during the week, you'll be able to just watch, whatever thing we played on Saturday or Sunday on the days I take off. Still plan to do the same number of Magic hours, but just going to be shifting which days the hours are happening on, basically. Feeling pretty dead. Thanks, Maven. There actually was an issue with some of the... Yeah, so speaking of YouTube, YouTube has been bugged for the last month, and I thought they fixed it, but apparently they didn't. So I'm tagging decks, and they're supposed to be showing up on the proper playlist, but YouTube feels like it's flipping a coin on whether or not it's actually adding those videos to the playlist it claims to be adding the videos to. So I need to start remembering to go through an extra manual step that I didn't need to do a month ago to make sure that their system's actually doing what it claims it's supposed to be doing. I thought they'd fixed it, but then I went and apparently historic videos for the last 2 days never got added to the historic playlist properly, and then the favorites list yesterday didn't get updated. So it's updated this morning, someone pointed it out. I need to just add a check all playlist to my wrap-up checklist. For those that don't do anything with YouTube on the content creation side, YouTube's been rolling out a new creator studio for the last while. And the playlist support in it is real bad. I think we're probably dead here. I'm going to go ahead and pack it in. Yeah, it's already in the deck queue, Elks. You understand what Thrash does? Like, I wouldn't have traded with it. If I did damage to it, they just wouldn't have blocked. You played 10 historic matches yesterday, and the only deck you played against twice was the Arcanist combo. Nice. Yeah, there's been a lot of variety. Even if you hit the same deck twice, there's still a lot of mix and match in between. I'm just happy there's less people bouncing my stuff. There's a lot of variety in standard right now too. It's just most of the variety involves people brazen borrowing or Teferiing you, in just like the least pleasant way possible. Macabre, thank you for cashing those shillings. I'll get at it after we're done today. Untapped land would be real good, huh? If we get running lands here, we'll be in a great spot. You beat blue-white control by tapping them out yesterday. It was glorious. God bless. Alright, missed the land drop. Probably dead. I don't know. Klothys can really grind a matchup like this, so we'll see. You try to build of Yarok, Field, and Pioneer. Well, Field of the Dead is banned in Pioneer, so no. To answer your question, no. Even if Field of the Dead wasn't banned in Pioneer, Yarok Field would be too slow and fair for this format. The fact that Field of the Dead is banned in this format is comical at best and borderline idiotic at worst. Pioneer is a really fast and brutal format. Decks like what we're currently playing are the types of decks you generally want to be playing in this format. Fair interactive decks like this opponent and the opponent before us are playing are generally decks you kind of want to stay away from. Although, we might just get dumpstered here because we haven't had any lands. Yeah, the Merfolk League was great. Big agree. What's the score? You can always find out our current record by typing ! record in chat. Three Baker's years. Thanks for 39 months, Daz. It's a long time. I appreciate you keeping me around. Oh, Magic. Is there anything more feels Magic, man, than, like, having an absolute nuts hand and then just, like, never drawing a third land and dying? Just, like, never need to draw another spell to win. Just never draw another land and die. If we'd have gotten to play Klothys by turn 4 of this game, their Grixis deck just probably could have never taken it off the table, and it would have just sat here and ground away at them. Now it's probably too little too late, even if we hit it next turn. It would have stopped them from ever escaping this Kroxa. Just super unfortunate. Hey, Penumbers. Glad to hear you're able to do that. Dizzy, thanks for the 3rd of a year. Welcome back. I appreciate that. Yeah, we haven't gone long at all this week. I wanted to do a bunch of historic. There's a ton of historic decks in the queue. You're very glad. I'm going to give you a timeout for how stupid your comment is that you think mid-range is playable in this format and that you think Field of the Dead is a good ban in this format. It is. Field of the Dead being banned in this format is just beyond offensive. There are so many things in this format that make mid-range borderline unplayable, and mid-range can keep up with Field of the Dead way easier than it can keep up with a lot of the things that are currently legal in this format. This format has followed the mistakes they've made with Modern, in that they've banned things and then forgotten about the ban list in just completely silly and stupid ways. Thanks for the tier 2, Applegate. I appreciate that. Welcome back. How many bits do I have to donate to get a canned laugh reel on the stream? It's so easy to go under Field. It's also really easy to play specific sideboard cards to get through Field of the Dead. Mid-range players are the peak. Comments like that are peak examples of players not realizing there's always a bigger fish. People are like, oh man, I'm glad they banned Field of Dead because that's the thing that was keeping me down. And then like they start playing games and they're like, oh wait, there's this other thing that's keeping me down. Like your mid-range deck also doesn't beat Ugins and Ulamogs and stuff. They're making their mistakes in Pioneer faster than they did in Modern, so they're getting more efficient. That's funny because it's sad. Well, you know, we just needed to draw a 3rd land again. Take me down to Brick City. Do 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 do. Boo do 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 do. Comments like, I'm glad Field of the Dead is banned even though it's not too good because it's good against the thing that I like to play, really just shows that it's kind of a rude bias. Like, other people aren't allowed to have fun so you can have fun. Alright, maybe that happened fast enough. It's a very selfish attitude. It's like we talked about Nexus of Fate in Historic a ton, right? Like, I don't personally love playing Historic, but I don't love playing Nexus in Historic, but I'm glad Nexus exists when it's not one of the best things in the format, right? Is this Esper? I don't remember Red Green having these land problems. Asking the real questions. What's causing them to not manage Pioneer? No one knows. Green source. Green source. Sick. This archetype would love a Copperline Gorge and Copperline Gorge and Compulsion Forest. Would be so good in this archetype. Die. Obviously, I wanted to double the Atarka's command, and I clicked through it by mistake. That's frustrating. Yelling at idiots about wanting cards banned that I like to play. And missing our third land drops. Not good. Not conducive to making good plays. Alright. What's this? That's true too. I think one of the things people assume incorrectly is when you have a format where decks like Inverter and, you know, Breach Combo and stuff like that are like the best decks in the format, it's not fair to assume that those decks being the best decks are a bug. There are a lot of people who like playing Magic with decks like Inverter. And if you're not one of them, if you don't like playing with or against Inverter and Breach, you should just not play this format. You shouldn't want the format to change necessarily. Much like I've advocated for in Modern, rather than banning more things in this format, I think they should just unban things and let people play with their toys. If they don't want to manage the format, they should let everybody play with their toys. I don't know if they need to reset it. Like Once Upon a Time and Veil of Summer can be banned. You have Modern for that. You don't though. Modern has a bunch of cards that people aren't allowed to play with that are sweet. Splinter Twin is banned. Birthing Pod is banned. Just like Pioneer has Felidar Guardian and Field of the Dead, and even the Green Ley line to a degree that are banned unnecessarily. Like Modern has a bunch of cards that are banned unnecessarily. The fact that artifact lands are banned at this point is pretty funny. It's just funny. And it really shows how bad at evaluating cards some of the people making decisions at Wizards are. Because if you go look, there's people in Magic R&D, people who get to give input on the ban list, that talked about how they weren't sure if Stoneforge Mystic was a safe unban, like weeks before they unbanned it. And that card ended up doing basically nothing in the format. It was Bitter Blossom. It sees some amount of play for people that really love the card, but from the sense of, is this card good or powerful? Not really. Yeah, it sees pet play, which that's the perfect reason to have a card be unbanned, right? Like if it's a card a bunch of people love playing, that's a great reason to unban it, in my opinion. Tainted Llama, thanks for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Crunch. Yeah, Jace is essentially pet play at this point as well. Is accurate. I'm gonna go ahead and trade Blossoming Defense for their access here. Just run them down. The banned Snow decks don't even need the Stoneforge anymore because of Uro. Uro's real good. So this Embercleave should be lethal, right? Cleave ho! And worth noting too that like this Embercleave is like super lethal here, but like Gore Clan would have also been lethal in this instance, right? Made to overkill though. Yeah, man, what on God's green earth did Wizards Future League look like? That, like, their green decks that had Once Upon a Time, Veil of Summer, Oko, and Uro in them, like, where were the red flags, chat? I need to know who playtested that format specifically and was like, yeah, that's fine, send it to production. Air Spencer, thanks for the 15 months, welcome back. Yeah, that's a good question. Oh gosh, Field of the Dead was legal and all that too. Agree. Where's my Felidar Guardian at? This is like hand sucks, keep territory. These look like all threes. This is really a 2 though, so I think it's fine enough. Maro said we have 12 non-loyalty counters coming. Well, I'm sure that won't be confusing and unnecessary for paper play. And really, hearing that makes me really glad I play digitally. There's a paper version of this game. Not in a post-plague world, potentially. We'll take the one here. If they don't play anything else worth stomping, I'm probably just gonna stomp this. How was White Splash Cleave yesterday? We ended up cutting the cleaves by the end of the set. They were just pretty unnecessary. Cleave in that archetype did a lot of the same things. Cleave did a lot of the same things that 4 mana Johnny did while being super awkward on the mana, basically. Was the TLDR. I kind of wanted them to give Oko a chance in Historic as well. It felt like giving Oko a chance in Historic probably would have been okay. Maybe a turtle. Maybe. Hey, what are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do, do, do. That's a biggin. Poor little Rabblemaster. I assume they're just gonna trade here. We are ready to hardcast become events. I'm gonna lead on Bonecrusher Giant, and then we can play the Spellbreaker with haste next turn. Maybe that's wrong because they could deploy a blocker. Let's see what they do here. Well, that's unfortunate. That's a big boat. This puts them a virtual 2 lower, which is nice. Maybe I'm supposed to make this a 4/4 because the boat deals 3. I don't know. If they start attacking with this, we're probably just dead. They have 5 cards in hand still. So, like, if we had spells in our hand, we might have a shot here. But I think with being on 3 blanks, we're probably mostly dead here. This is 3 to crew, so if they, like, play a Gideon, they can animate Gideon, crew this, and kill this. Yeah, feel like we've run pretty bad so far today with this deck. Like, a lot of games and a small number of matches we're just like missing lands or flooded. That, thankfully, is not a creature yet, so it can't crew the Sky Sovereign. Damage. Classic never draw a 3rd land. And, well, we also bricked on our 3rd land in the first game of this match, too. The Shuffler's rigged. Only as much as the Earth is flat. Yep. Any idea what deck I'm playing tomorrow? Either red-green aggro or Merfolk. A Shuffler super rigged. Thanks for the quarter of a year, Al. Welcome back. Super conservative play here from the opponent. Very smart. They could think we have cards in our hand that matter. Little do they know. I would not be surprised if, after playing today, we decide Terrafor's not constructed playable. I agree. I think Terrafor is likely a little bit too weak to be playable. Yikes. Feels Magic the Gathering, man. Did we keep a 3-spell opener? Was it a 2-spell or a 3? It was a 3-spell opener. We drew 1 spell, right? I think that was the case. What problem do you think you solved by making that change, Dr. Lawson? What matchup do you think you make better? Would be my question to you. Yeah, there's two Terror Vortex today. We have Naya Rune Blaster and then Bant Nightfield were both build arounds that required that include Terravor. So I want to shake the tires on it. Maybe it'll be one of those cards where we play it a little bit and we end up impressed with it, but definitely have low expectations going in. So again, Dr. Lawson, I'm not asking you for what the card does. I'm asking you for specifics on a weakness you think my deck has and how that weakness is solved with your recommended edition. So there's always lots of cards that do lots of different things that could be reasonable inclusions in a deck. And in my opinion, the best way to narrow that down when you have a deck list you're starting with is you want to identify problems and then try to identify solutions to those problems. Yeah, I'm excited to smack people with Ancestral Mask and Trample. That sounds just great. One of my concerns about Terravor, especially in the Bant build, is I feel like Terravor is probably worse than just Uro in that archetype. Like, I have both. Uro is tension with Terravor. This is why I didn't Invigorated Rampage, so I didn't want to get blown out by a removal spell. Talking about some of the merits of Spellbreaker, one of the things Spellbreaker does well, a problem that it solves for this archetype, is that we have so many pump spells in this deck, and Spellbreaker allows us to play our pump spells without fear of getting blown out against interactive decks. So again, that's a good example of a problem this deck could have and how Spellbreaker works to solve that problem. How much to bump Green-Black Citadel to the first historic deck today? I look for a $50 donation to cut a arena deck into the current schedule for the day. It is always much less than that to get it played later on. For example, if you wanted it to be played on Sunday, it looks like it would need about 30 points. That's a questing beast. If I could like attack an Invigorated Rampage to trade 2 for 1 and get a little bit of damage. Trading off here seems bad in the face of the fact that I have an Embercleave in my hand, though. So I think I'm just going to, like, play a 4-4 and pass here. Pumping the brakes also doesn't feel stellar, though. There are a lot of points for historic decks, yep. I mean, part of the reason why we're doing 4 historic decks today is because they're a bit backed up. Oh, crap. Hey, Mono Blue Burn. Thank you for the incredible support. I appreciate that. All right, we're gonna bump standard out today. Standard can wait. Five historic decks it is. Thanks for keeping me around, Mono Bluebird. Land drop here was good. We get Invigorated Rampage plus Temur Battle Rage now. If they block. So they didn't block. So I think because they didn't block, I'm actually just going to post-combat double creature here. So I actually had a really good suggestion on my YouTube channel for the Citadel deck, and that was it should definitely just be playing one copy of Field of the Dead for when you draw Scape Shift but don't have a Dread Presence out. So I've been playing a lot of Yarok Field, and at first I thought I had an issue with quick aggro decks. I've since realized it was the way I was playing the deck against the archetype. I wanted to say that because I ask myself the questions you're asking all the time, what problem does inserting this card fix and so on, I feel as if I'm becoming a better player because just making a change now, I need to answer these pointing questions before I would have. That's great to hear, Anaphylactic. Yeah, big agree. The Yarok deck too, I feel like it generates so much card advantage, it can be extra tricky to play against the aggro decks because like, that deck, I've probably won more games starting from 4 and 5 cards against aggro than any other deck in the history of Magic. Okay, so can Invigorated Rampage plus Temur Battle Rage kill them this turn? I don't think so. We're not dead next turn, though, either, so I'm saying there's a chance. I think I just Embercleave here, since they blocked. We put this on here. Hope to not get Fatal Pushed. We are dead to a Fatal Push with these blocks, but I think there's this blind, but I think that's still correct. Which figure? Well, which figure do you want to get? This one right here. This figure right here. Yeah, you basically want to mulligan for early interactions. You shouldn't keep hands in that matchup that don't... We really need an untapped land that's not a shock land here. We need a basic mountain or another Ramunap Ruins. And we're dead. Got it. Feels bad, man. You basically want post board in that matchup, especially on the draw. You want an Arboreal Grazer or a Disfigure in your opener, ideally. Sometimes Cast Out is good enough. It's basically the TLDR of that deck against aggro, which is one of the reasons why we go up to 8 copies between those two things. Again, just like the other interactive matchups, I'm gonna board out these cards that are good at targeting my things and board in more individual threats here. Just want higher threat density as opposed to more tricks. Thanks for not only the excellent Magic content, but also for your efforts to improve our knowledgeable social and political ideas. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate it. Again, this 4 lands is not super exciting, but if I mulliganed and saw 3 lands in these 3 spells, I'd keep this. So I definitely don't think this hand's a mulligan, but it's also not super exciting. Klothys is especially good. I think we had Klothys main in the last green-red deck that we played. She is especially good against these escape creatures like Uro and Kroxa. Just like, not only does Klothys provide a steady flow of damage that's hard for them to take off the table, but she also, like, keeps their graveyard small, which is great for us. Klothys and a third land. Exactly. Thanks for the 19 months, the unnamed. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, the number of people who have posted about how pent up at home they are has been a reminder that I'm, like, way more of an introvert on average than most people are. In terms of like what my regular routine is. Ah, that's fine. Lucky! And it's your 12th Storm Thief, so have a sword. Which is good. It's good beats. Yeah, I am really interested to see if some of the projections that I saw said that there would be hospitals in the US that would likely be overwhelmed with cases by the 23rd, which is 3 days from now. So I'm interested to see if those projections hold true. Hopefully they don't. But I feel like the cavalier attitude a lot of people have had during this whole thing probably means that it's going to. Hey, that's a land that's a spell at least, huh? Glass half full, that's a land spell. I don't know, Mask. Like, I'm sure you've seen the videos of piles of tourists just like out on the beach, right? Points out widespread testing setup would allow lifting of physical isolation measures because infected people would be identified. Correct. Yes. If we could appropriately identify everyone in communities that is infected, you could quarantine just those people and root it out. They did mill an Uro over here, so Klothys will exile that next turn. YouTube regular clocking in for a Twitch sub. Looking forward to the historic content. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Ebony Kitty. I wouldn't be here without folks like you. Thanks for keeping me around. So, for like the 100th time this league, we are again getting incredibly unlucky and flooding out. The difference this time is that I had Klothys in my opener, and Klothys can probably drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line with just a little bit of luck here. Klothys again being really impressive. She was impressive last time we played a green-red deck. I feel like I'd probably just play Klothys in the main. You've had people stop into your gas station for one bag of candy and then pay with coins. Yup. Standard got cut the line out of the stream today. I take their Planeswalker out of their bin here to reduce their number of card types. So Knights will stay in the queue, and we'll get back to that on Sunday. Sunday. It's gonna be live both days this weekend. You currently work at a restaurant, and the amount of people who have complaints that they cannot dine in is actually ridiculous. Yup. For those of you that are also enjoying the historic kick, don't worry. The number of standard submissions has slowed a ton. We have, how many total standard decks are in the queue at the moment? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 in there? Yeah, that sounds about right. Tassa Fish, yep. You've got real talent here at these draws. It's not good talent, but it's talent. Alright, so we're hoping to draw a copy of Atarka's Command for lethal next turn. And if we don't, we're dead. Because they amassed an incredible number of threats here. I suppose that means we're not dead on board. Because we have a blocker. Pretty unfortunate series of games. I think I'm probably going to play the last match still with this. Just because, like, good quality example of, like, our match record not being representative of, like, the power level of our deck. Oh, right. There was a haste creature in the bin. That makes sense. Good play. Come for the MTGA, suffer through the Moto. We're also almost through the Moto backlog. I think there's probably a good chance that so I currently have, including after this deck, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Magic Online decks in the queue. So I think after next week, we'll probably be dropping down to doing 3 Moto decks per week. And most of those decks will probably be decks that I pick out. What is the opponent playing? Sultai Delirium is the worst deck that people play in some quantity in Pioneer. Because regardless of whether or not mid-range is playable, there's people that show up and register it. Alright, chat. I assume it's true because, well, this is... This is the timeline we're living in. But apparently Amazon is asking people to make donations to an online fundraiser to support its warehouse temps and flex drivers. Like, the unreal amounts of greed. Like, you have to be an unreal... Like, you don't get to be a billionaire by having any sorts of reasonableness, right? Like, for the company run by the literal wealthiest man on the planet to, like, have that to be a thing that, like, yeah, this is... You think you should do this instead of just paying your people. Like... Privatize the profits, socialize the costs, seize the means of production. Yeah. Ooh, that's good for us. That's exciting. Alright, let's give them quite the commanding performance. Deal 3 to you. Give them a things 1/1. Bezos makes $9 million an hour. That's a number. $9 million per hour. What is this opponent doing? They, like, cast growth spirals and had a lumbering falls? Like, Nexus is banned in this format, right? They're just ramp? Oh, yeah, they had a Sanctum of Ugin, right? Or a Shrine of whatever. I kind of just want to click submit. Like, if they're ramp, I kind of just want to race them, right? This is where someone goes, actually, Bezos doesn't have that much wealth available to him, in which case I slap them with a large trout. Yep. Yep. Gosh, this deck would kill for green-red fast lands and pain lands. It'd be such a huge improvement over the mana base. Maybe I should have just played this and gambled. Glad I didn't. They got bees, chat. Buzz, buzz. Buzz, buzz. Oh! Oh, if we could draw a burn spell, Soul-Scar Mage lets us not get them bees, right? That's exciting. Sweet memes are made of these. Who am I to disagree? I think I'm just playing a 4/4 here and then passing. And then next turn, hopefully we draw a land so we can double Invigorated Rampage plus Temur Battle Rage. So, unexpected results here, just flipping lands off the top of their deck twice. This was a staple in its standard format. It was very good there. Sweet. All right, so let's go. You get to attack, you get to attack. And then we'll attack here. We'll flashback Invigorated Rampage. We'll give... Yeah, they're dead. So we'll give this 4 attack. And then we'll Battle Rage it. Despite all the rage. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Never not dead to Temur Battle Rage. Yeah, so to start with, I feel like this deck was better than its record we played to indicates, just by virtue of like how pretty incredibly unlucky we got at multiple points in that league. Things I would change. I feel like Klothys nice Chucky. I feel like Klothys is a card I would just play main. And I'd probably board the Bonecrusher Giants. These Fabled Passages were real awkward and bad. I'd just cut these and play some mana confluences. We can afford to take a little bit of damage from our mana to just be more consistent. The core package, though, felt pretty powerful and linear. I felt like we were just a little bit... We were very close to like 2 of those matches going a different way. And I misclicked my way through one of my losses. So like, you know... The green-red aggro decks have felt like they're pretty reasonable in this format. Like I've said, this format, like a lot of Magic formats right now, is pretty hostile to mid-range. And I think being very linear like this is probably the best way to be approaching these formats. All right. What are we doing? We're going to hit a quick ad roll, and when I get back, we're going to kick things off with a bunch of Historic today on Magic Arena. Don't go anywhere. We've got 5 Historic decks coming up. Longer stream today. Thanks for hanging out, folks.